sent her an email the other day. She wants me to do one. Oh, yes. I emailed her the other day, and then she I think she emailed me back yesterday, something like that, said that get on the website and there's nothing off, or even though it was built, awesome, delivered. Yeah, yeah. Alrighty, got it out. Good, good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Mhm. Alrighty, that's all we can do, right? So far. Mhm. Okay. Yeah, that happens. I do it all the time.
Well, we're getting better, but we can't understand, I mean, we get, you know, we get all the.
Yeah.
And I don't think the person also has to figure out how to get all the.
Yeah.
Internet.
Yes, they did all they had to do, and I, one of the guys unplugged it out of the line and plugged it back in, and
Good.
it ended up working.
I like the one you did.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Chief, let me ask a question.
Yes,
When's the last time you had a generator service?
that should have been serviced this past year.
Okay. I didn't know.
I'm trying to think, might have been this summer, I think I had service, because, we had issues with it. I went out and bought a new battery for it, so then I had the service guy come out anyways, because I fixed the problem when I called him for it, and he ended up servicing it then. So, yeah, I believe it was this past summer.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Sorry you had to go chasing after that. Thought I'd get it over to you.
Yeah, because I took, whenever it happened when when Google got invaded,
Yeah.
and I still haven't got my Gmail back. My
Oh, wow.
trustee account, I can get my personal account, but I
Mhm.
can't get my trustee account at all.
Wow.
Just sit there,
Are we live?
shooting around. I'm like, what computer I got, so. It's looking.
Did you get all the fire department stuff taken care of? Or Kevin Wallington, do you know?
Yes.
Good.
Did your husband happen to pass on my message to you Saturday?
Probably did, but sometimes I don't listen to him. What do you say?
About me getting a second letter now from the town.
Oh,
Now they've
he did, but
dissolved the position.
he didn't understand it, so he didn't tell it well.
No, no.
Okay, I gotta pause YouTube. And then
And then we're live, okay.
Yeah.
So speak quickly.
Instead of now just being
Fire you.
fired or let go or
Position.
whatever, now they've changed their mind, they got rid of the whole job.
Okay.
And I'm gonna fill all this Saturday.
So then you get him.
Yeah, so I should be able to. I'll see if I can.
The job's no longer there.
Yeah, I'm what do you call it?
So what's the
Whistle
temperature in
pig.
Florida?
I don't know about that, that was 50s in Texas.
We have, in Texas, we have trustee Walshivsky here. What's that?
It was only, I think, 78 today. It's supposed to be warmer next week in the 80s.
Oh, good. I'm so sorry you have to shiver.
I'm coming home March 7th, so
Very good. We look forward to that. Do you have to quarantine when you get home?
No,
Great.
I have to test down here and then I have to retest 4 days after I get home. But I've had both my shots.
Oh, great.
So who knows?
Yeah, all right. I think you have who has the watch?
I
You
do.
almost time?
Real close.
Okay, so I think we're live. I know we're live, I can see this. All right, please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and welcome to the Village of Richfield Springs Board of Trustees meeting for 23rd of February. We have a full schedule again tonight. Is John McManus with us yet? I can't see him. Mindy? Oh, Mindy is you, right? So you're on too, you're on Mindy and Clerk Barra. Okay, so, he is not, maybe we'll put off this stuff for a few minutes until, he shows up. Otherwise, we'll take care of the water sewer district later in the afternoon. So right off the bat, we have, Fire Chief Eldrick with us. Anything tonight?
Nothing from me, just a question. I know Chad did review last meeting, and he's got another explanation. Unfortunately, I can't get a second quote only because they're so specialized. There's only one dealer for the area between Albany and Syracuse. They don't tend to cross lines, so MES is the only quote that I can get.
Okay.
But it's also under a state contract, so I was under the impression, I don't know if, with the state contract, if I need the second quote.
I don't think we do. It's got air packs. What, that was something we set up a long time ago, I think,
Yeah.
right? No, you get them. They're part of your, and then they come out of your, what was the cost on those? I don't remember. 1,400?
That was more like five.
It was 43 something,
Yeah, I
I
don't
think.
quite remember off the top of my head.
Uh,
Oh, I had the air
Yeah,
packs.
it was,
The turnout gear is 2,700.
Yeah, the,
But, yeah.
in addition, that's for a special request because of COVID and everything.
Masks, yes.
Yes.
But those came in under procurement, I believe.
Yeah, like, I know Chad mentioned that I had to get a second quote, and then I may not have to if they were under state bid, so I wasn't sure on it, but I did contact our rep, and he did say they were under a state contract.
Then you're good to go.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
other than that, I've got nothing.
All right, sorry for the confusion on that there.
it was tough with the Zoom
Yeah,
last meeting.
that's right. Go ahead, Dan.
I just was pointing out that I had another thing on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
So were we talking about the MES mask?
Yes, but I thought we figured that out last week. I know one of my problems was I thought it was 14,000 and it was only 1,400 total. I thought we were talking about, so
It was substantially less.
it was a lot less than I thought they said. So go ahead. What about the masks?
Thanks, Mom.
I missed what we were talking about, but you didn't get a second quote.
Oh, that was the mask,
Okay, so we're gonna approve the MES quote then?
right?
Which one was it, we're approving the lowest price one?
I only got the one
No,
quote,
there was-
because-
Okay,
so,
oh, that's right,
It was-
the other one was for the cases.
Okay,
yes, cases were like $200 or $300, yeah.
okay.
What about image trend then? We need that.
That would be rough, I don't know.
That's coming up. We have him on tonight. Cases, you said, how many?
The mask bags,
They fell under the 500.
Okay, good. That's what I was thinking you were. Okay, good. That's it then. Thanks for your contribution
Thank you.
and your help. Captain Wellington, while we have you on the line, image trend?
Yes. We were approved by our local region. I talked to Image Trend yesterday. They have not received the signed paper or payment as of yet.
Okay, they wouldn't have the payment. We have the,
I gave it to, no.
you gave the check to him?
Ralph. No, the paper.
Okay.
Initiate it.
I signed it last week, right, when I was in?
Yeah.
All right, so we signed the paperwork. and I
That was a paper for Arams. The guy in charge of Image Trend said he emailed you a copy of the contract.
Okay,
The first one he said didn't go through, so he had to do it the second time.
He okayed it, but we couldn't do that until the board authorized it.
okay. All right, so we're all up to speed here. Now we have them all straightened out. We needed to have that, we needed to send that to our attorney to have her look at it first.
Okay,
She did, she approved all the wording and all the terms, everything in there. So, while we are right here, we have a quote from Image Trend for, annual fee. This is a 3-year one, right?
no, Image Trend is yearly. It was like $12.50 plus 3 add-ons came to 2,000.
Even 2,000. So if, this board would be willing to authorize me to sign this contract with Image Trend, and we'll force it electronically, for $2,000. It's $12.50 for the core package, $250 for checklist option, $250 for inventory and maintenance option, $250 for training and activities option. Total of 2,000. And this is a 1-year contract.
Do they need to be explained what it is?
I think we had it last week.
Yes.
Further explanation? Everybody's good with it? Do I have approval to sign this?
Yes.
I'll do it tomorrow. We have a
Yes.
motion on the floor
Second,
and a vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, thank you. Put it on, I'll be in tomorrow sometime.
And the motion for the MES as well, please.
And, while we're at it, motion for the masks
So moved.
and a second and a vote.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, now the fire department's all done. Thanks for being patient with that. We got it all eventually. Anything else, Captain?
I was given permission to go out and get an iPad last meeting. And I researched it a little more with more of our departments that have it. They say an iPad costs about $500, but what they failed to tell me was sometimes they go through 2 or 3 of them because iPads are not as equipped as a tough book.
Not as rugged, right?
Right. So they go through sometimes 3 or 4 a year. That adds up after a while. My recommendation is to look into a tough book.
Yeah, that's what Chris used to have. Chief?
Just my experience being paid medic with AMR for 13 years. We've had EPCRs now for at least 10 years, and we've used top books, tablets, tablets. You drop them, you crack the screen, you gotta get another one. So my recommendation is how do you take top book? The original top book we had a guy, my partner, he used 450 maybe, jumped on top right as we got him, didn't break them at all. So they're pretty rugged top books.
What's the price difference between a
About
tough book?
$500. It's probably $750 machine, right?
I couldn't tell you the price of the top books nowadays, so.
Look first on, at the state. Seems like that's something a lot of,
I would think there might be a state, I look at state, like the state contract,
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably have something for the top books as well. That would be my recommendation, just from experience, I would recommend a top book.
but if not, follow the procurement policy and get the quotes that we need.
Okay.
It should be no problem buying it, Captain, it's just a matter of doing it right.
Okay.
It may be a far-fetched idea, but something to check up on, possibly. The school has surplus equipment at the end of every year. It's usually used for only a year. And I know they usually offer it up to teachers first, but in this situation, if you or someone else affiliated with the fire department went to them and said, you know, maybe gave them the situation and told them what you needed, they might be able to possibly either give it to you, or I know that people have bought them for like $20 at the end of the
And they
year.
had some.
Yeah.
I don't know who the tech person is, unfortunately.
But
We
would
might
it
have to go
be-
to the school board over that. I'm not sure if they're the ones that authorize the sales.
That's what I said, I can always email the superintendent, but I don't know.
It may be worth just saying something. I mean, and maybe that's not a thing, but if it is, you could potentially,
Yeah.
you know, save yourselves and us and everyone else
Would
$500.
they
or
be
more.
rugged enough for what they're using?
Well, so with my experience with them, some of the cases you can get drastically increase the protection. So like I know with the girls, we got them tablets, and the first set were destroyed in a year. The cases that we just got the last time around, we're like 2 years in, they've been dropped, stepped on, walked on, all the above, and they seem to hold up really well. But
Great.
maybe that's something to look into. That's all. And
Right.
a thought.
That is a good thought.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know school did that.
Yeah.
All right, with that, I think we'll take a break here, and John McManus just joined us, I believe. Is that right? You want to take this? You need to take it to the desk. John?
Yes,
There he is. Thank you. Hi, John.
how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Can you want to get us started on what we have before us tonight regarding the Allen's Lake water?
For the raw water extension?
Correct.
Sure. Is Michelle on the phone, or is she on the Zoom?
I don't see her. I expected her.
Yes, she
Okay.
is.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can't see a whole of them today. All right, thank you.
Michelle, I don't know, Michelle, did you get a chance to go over anything?
We haven't, Robin just introduced the topic of the raw water lines. Robin, are there particular questions on the engineering side? Did you want to start with John for that reason? Or should I just give a brief overview of the resolutions?
Honestly, I didn't see you there. I can't see all the space.
Oh. No problem.
Welcome, thank you, and anything you can start us out with would be great.
Okay, so I think John will just begin with a brief overview in terms of the resolutions that the board received for their consideration. There are 3 resolutions, all of which are required for the grant application to CDBG. The first regards the environmental review under the National Environmental Policy Act, and it simply classifies the proposed project as categorically excluded from review, which indicates that no further environmental review must occur under the Environmental Policy Act. So that resolution is fairly straightforward. And it provides the exact classification to claim that the project is categorically excluded. The second resolution is the bond resolution, also required by the grant application. And the purposes of the bond resolution, as is customary with any bond resolution, is to authorize the village to issue bonds if the village were to choose to do so, up to the total project cost, which according to the information that John provided in his letter report and project cost estimate, totals $744,352. And it also authorizes application for the grant to CDBG, as well as to EFC and any other agencies down the road that may have applicable grants. So it serves those 2 purposes, both a lending purpose as well as application for the grant, and authorizes the mayor and the treasurer to execute any documents in furtherance of both purposes. And of course, here, our primary purpose is to apply for the grant. And if the grant is insufficient, we understand that there's little to no likelihood that the village would borrow. But as I said, it is a required resolution and does authorize the application for the grant. The third resolution is required pursuant to New York State Village Law. And because this project involves extending the main outside of the village limits, this resolution is necessary under section 11-1122 of the New York State Village Law, and gives the route that the extension of the main would take, which is to extend from the southern property boundary of the village parcel that currently holds the water treatment works, and then extend to County Route 27, run south within the right of way of County Route 27, turn at Butternut Road, and there create a loop. And John can probably explain better, but the loop, from what I understand, would follow back to the water treatment plant, following the same route that the extension of the main followed. And those are the three resolutions before the board. You also have John McManus's letter report, and that's referenced in the bond resolution, as well as the project estimate. So we're both here to answer any questions on both the legal and the engineering side.
Thank you, Michelle. You did much better than I could have. There was, what I will know is, I know Doug had some concern about this main just dead ending. And that is a concern. So we are trying to loop this around and basically tie this back into itself. So there's some unknowns at this point with easements, potential easements and things like that. But we're certainly going to try to accomplish that with the least amount of disturbance possible. You see the reduction in my estimate and from the last go around, and that's because we have reduced the scope a little bit based on eligibility with the household. So that's why you see that reduction in that estimate from my original 1.2 million.
And I should add to that the more limited project scope does result from the results that we received in terms of the surveys that were sent to the various households. And it also coincides with, I think, concerns that were expressed by the water superintendent, as well as some questions posed by the board in terms of the differing origins of title. The limited project scope at this point encompasses those parcels that would originate from the St. John farm property and have that in their title. And that's the property that the third appellate division case ruled with respect to their water rights.
Do you have any questions tonight for our attorney or engineer?
Do we know which parcels will be getting the water?
I do, Barb. I could pull, let me see if I can do this without losing you. I can probably pull up the tax map. What's most, although the numbers may not mean anything to you. So the parcels that it would be the parcel that is immediately adjacent to the village's parcel.
Is that Judy's
That was
parcel?
Judy's property, that's right.
Okay.
And then beyond her property, Carol Lee's property, the Tremaine property,
Okay.
which is across County Route 27. And then we're trying to qualify under 2 prongs of income eligibility. If we can qualify, and for the grant, if we can qualify under the second prong, then we can also include Dodge, and I believe across from him is Milliman.
So what about the people going up the hill, like,
Further away from the village.
right?
So those properties, there's a few considerations. We did not receive any income survey responses, so that at the outset makes it difficult to qualify those properties. Further, the water rights in their title are more limited, or in one case not evident. And so there's lesser, I guess there's a lesser compelling reason to include those within the project scope. And it is our understanding that at least one of those properties also has a commercial use, and that with the commercial use, there has been a on-site treatment system, and the other properties primarily use the raw water for agricultural use. And we will pursue on their behalf with the Department of Health a variance or exemption under the Safe Drinking Water Act for continued use in terms of the existing agricultural operation.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Leonard, do you have concern? I didn't mean to cut you off, but I couldn't hear her.
No, that's all right.
That was it. Anybody else? Question? All right, then I guess it's time we should probably adopt these resolutions if that's the intent of this board. Need a motion for at least one of them, one at a time. We do them one at a time, right?
Yes. And Robin, just to point out, the bond resolution has to be adopted by a supermajority vote, 4 out of 5. The others can be adopted by a simple majority vote, 3 out of 5.
Okay, so for the resolution determining the extension of the village water distribution. Wasn't done in order. I know, I took it out of order. Sorry. It's the one authorizing no, I had it in the right order.
We have to do the bond.
Extension first?
If you could do the one regarding the environmental review.
That's it, okay. Determining the extension of the village's water distribution system outside of the village to be categorically excluded as defined in 24 CFR 58.35 subsection A and not affected by federal environmental statutes and executive orders on today's date, the 23rd of February, 2021. Do you want me to read that whole thing? Or do you want to keep these people awake all night?
If the board's comfortable with the resolution as it stands, I think we can just move to the vote.
Everybody has it in front of them. Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
And a second, and a vote.
Yes.
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 And trustee Walshipski?
Barb?
Barb, can you hear us?
Yes,
Is that your vote, or can you hear?
yes,
Okay,
that's my vote, yes.
okay, thank you. All right, and yes, that's 5. Next resolution, bond resolution of the Village of Richfield Springs, Otsego County, New York, adopted February 23rd, 2021, authorizing the acquisition, construction, reconstruction of an addition to the village water supply and distribution system, including without limitation mains, lateral lines, a new pump station, and land or rights in land, original furnishings, equipment, machinery, and apparatus to extend the distribution system outside the village, stating the estimated maximum cost of said improvements together with certain costs preliminary and incidental thereto is $744,352, appropriating said sum therefore and authorizing the issuance of up to $744,352 in serial bonds of the village to finance in part said appropriation. Does anybody need anything more on that? Is there a motion? This is the one that needs a supermajority. Is there a motion to adopt that resolution?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
And a second and a vote.
Yes.
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 Trustee Walshipski.
Yes,
And yes, that's 5. And finally, authorizing the extension of water mains outside of the village pursuant to New York State Village Law Sections 11-1120 and 11-22. 11-1122, sorry. Motion to adopt.
Make a motion.
And a second. Got
Second.
them both, I think.
Yes.
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 Trustee Walshipski.
yes.
Thank you. And yes. 5. Thank you. Okay, do we have anything more from our attorney or from our engineer tonight?
No, that was everything. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I would mention is, we do have, correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, we're still looking at March 5th, correct? For our
Correct.
For our final submission. So, the engineering report that you have in front of you, which is basically just a letter, we're actually working on the more detailed report. So by next Friday, you're gonna have a final engineering report on this, and we can make that available to you.
Yeah, please, and that will include drawings?
Yes, you're gonna have drawings, all the mapping, you're gonna have some details in there on the actual water system, and you're gonna have a more detailed routing plan.
Great. If you could also include our water treatment and wastewater treatment engine supervisors on that, please?
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, both of you. We appreciate it.
Michelle, you still there?
Yes, she is.
I am.
This is trustee Putnam. I do have one question for you. Some of those people you said did not report their income. Does that eliminate them from being able to receive this water? Because I thought that was a priority, that they had to show what income they made.
So in determining the project scope, it was certainly a factor because, as I think very clearly stated at the public hearing, that we had to have 100%, we had to have a 100% return on the surveys. Now, after exploring that requirement further, it came to our attention that for individuals that can be classified consistent with the definition for census reporting as elderly, that there is a presumption in their favor that at least 51% would be under the income limits. And so that allowed us some greater latitude with those property owners that the real property tax reports show that they're receiving the enhanced star exemption. Because with that enhanced star, we can verify that they can be classified as elderly and as such can meet the presumption. That being said, the majority of the owners that are currently within the project scope did return their surveys. No surveys were returned for the properties that are not within the more limited project scope. And so it's, again, we certainly do not, regardless of whether or not the income survey was returned, we certainly do not want to leave anyone in a difficult position. It is our understanding, as I stated previously, that the properties, the 3 of the properties, 2 of which are under the same ownership, that are not included in the project scope, being more limited. Those 3 properties, from, again, based upon the information that we have, use this water not for drinking water, not for household purposes, but rather for livestock. And so on that basis, we have some confidence that we will be able to work with DOH to achieve a variance or exemption for the agricultural use and allow them to continue to have water fed for the purpose of their livestock off of the raw water line. There's one property that, again, the use has changed from residential to now residential and commercial. And it's our understanding that with respect to that property, there's an on-site treatment system to support the commercial operation. And so therefore, we do not have any concerns that anyone is drinking the raw water on that property. That property was also the one where it's unclear from their chain of title that they that any water rights were deeded. So we do feel confident as to how the project was limited and scoped based upon those various factors. So I'm not sure, Trustee Putnam, if that fully answers your question. I know it's sort of a long-winded explanation. But
more than answered it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll continue on then. Thank you. We still have not heard about the shared services contract. We haven't had that filled in yet.
Joe's not on, is it?
Joe Conan with us today? I can't see them all.
I didn't know. I don't know if he did not attempt to go on. But he did mention he was going to.
There he is. Okay. So DPW shared services contract has not been filled in yet. We're still waiting for that. Has anybody had a chance to look at the tree removal? And I'm glad that our attorney's still on the line. Maybe you could give us a hand with this. We've spoken about tree removal in the DPW, in the village right of way. There are a few trees, maybe 3 trees, I believe, that seem to hinder snow plowing. Are we within our right and responsibility to have those removed?
My preliminary answer, Robin, although I'd like to reserve the right just to verify against the village law, but preliminarily, I think that yes, they are the responsibility of the village, but I know this has been somewhat of a loaded issue for the village. And so I want to be careful about taking any action before we fully review the proposed action.
I will give you exact tree locations.
Okay.
I want to get you started on that and know that that's coming your way.
Okay.
Thank you. We have quotes for them. We just need to make sure it's all right to get them resolved. All right. That's it, I promise, for tonight.
Okay. All right. I'll probably leave then.
All right.
Thank you.
So much. The DPW, I have a note here from Tony. On the side, there's a demo saw that they're looking at, said they could use it. They already, I think they have one. We'll share it with the town though. I'm not sure how that works. The town is supposedly willing to go in partners to buy a demo saw. So they would be willing to go in halves for it because they usually borrow theirs. All right, so we're replacing one. I wanted to run it by you before I agreed to it. What are your thoughts? Well, if they're going to go in halves, that's one of my questions answered. What percentage will each contribute? I would hope that the town will expend the proper resources as far as their budget. They have to do. If they were to expend funds from the whole town budget, then the village people would be taxed twice. That's my concern.
They got almost $37,000.
And what we'll get if we're getting cash. Otherwise, they may be thinking of a shared services agreement where they get half the equipment for a shared service. That wasn't quite clear to me. And then availability, when would each be able to use it? And I had Tony working on that, and he said they're still interested in it and they're waiting for us to talk to them about it. But without more details, I'm afraid we can't give them really any idea.
Go ahead and do.
My only concern is, I'm using it, you want it.
That was one of the questions, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like they already get along pretty well as far as using that piece of equipment.
And others. And they think it will share that.
Yeah, but I mean, this particular piece, it sounds like they already do use it, and so they have some kind of arrangement.
Yeah, Robin, can you hear me?
I can. Hi,
Okay.
Sloan,
I didn't want to interrupt.
go ahead.
I had to get my stuff together. So yeah, right now we do share the one that we have. Doesn't run very good. We've tried to get it to run. It doesn't want to. It's getting old. But we share it pretty well. Usually we coordinate if one of us needs it, or if we both end up needing it, we try to coordinate together to figure out when we can use it as it is now. They also borrow a few of our other things when they need to, just as like a shared services things that has always gone on for many years.
Right.
And this is just kind of a way that they want to help return the favor.
But it sounds like they want to go in, they want to pay for That's the sticky point. I don't have a problem with services. That's great that we do get along well enough to share things. But if it's gonna be a financial issue, we have to hammer out all those little details. And when I say details, they could be pretty devilish.
No, I completely agree. That definitely does need to be addressed. I just wanted to share our cooperation with using the equipment. So
Currently,
you knew that shouldn't be an issue.
Currently, we own the demo saw
Correct.
fully. It's our equipment and we share it.
Correct.
All right, that's what I thought. I don't know that we have too many questions right now until we have more details, but it looks like Trustee Leonard has something.
Big things I can understand, a saw, I know. Okay, it's gonna be a 2-cycle saw, I assume.
How much are we talking price-wise? Do you know, Joe Cone?
It's right around 2,000.
Around 2,000, yeah.
So
That might be.
I borrow it from you, I got it, and my new employee here fills it with gas, starts it up, and you cycle gas into it.
Yeah.
Burns that saw. Now what happens?
Yeah, it almost might be, I was thinking it was more in the neighborhood of tens of thousands.
Oh, no.
So
That's what I'm saying, it's not.
We might be wise to replace it ourselves and then lend it out. All right, let me throw that in front of Tony when I talk to him next. And he might be able to get it sooner too. Well, I think that's already agreed, yeah. I don't think they're gonna, I don't think they did it to get any ownership. They just wanted to help us out a little. That might be more of a headache than a help. So let me ask Tony if he wants to consider that. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. You have anything else you want to add tonight, Joe Cone?
Not really.
All right, thank you. Well, thanks for joining in.
No problem.
You see, we're working on the trees. We should have an answer soon. I'll send the details to our attorney tonight. No, I won't. This week sometime. I'll get the exact trees from Tony, and we'll have our attorney weigh in on that.
Okay.
All right. I don't think there's anything else we've missed from DPW. Trying to stay up.
I got this one thing. Hey,
Yep.
Joe,
Yeah.
how about the fire hydrants and the speed sign? You gonna remove the snow so people can see them?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd like to start working on that this week, hopefully.
Okay.
While we're talking about trees, going back to talking about trees, Joe, you might want to listen to this. I've already sent notice to Tony. Last year sometime we spoke with the garden club. They offered to put in 2 trees as a memorial to one of their members, I believe it was, or somebody related to their club. They were going to work with the DPW to choose a spot. And we asked them at that time to do the research on the trees for us, because we don't necessarily have the time to go and research the trees. And Catherine Manser this week sent me a list of trees and a little information. I passed that along to Tony. But it sounds like they have the trees picked out. They're working with our new people.
Green Lakes.
Thank you, Green Lakes. And she's also done her research with wow, I'm at a loss for words tonight. Cornell. So they did the research. They know what trees are resistant to what kind of bugs and what would be best up here in our park and possibly through the village. So I set Catherine up with Tony to talk about trees and hopefully get those planted this year to replace some of what was taken out in the park a couple of years ago. All right. Don't believe we have anything under boards and committees, so let's move on to regular business. If there's no objection, we'll waive the reading and approve the minutes from the 9th of February. And a second?
Second.
And a vote.
Yes.
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 Trustee Wojcicki?
Yes,
And yes, thank you. You have the financials in front of you. No, I didn't see any movement.
Where are the bank statements?
Pardon me?
The folder with the bank statements?
I'm sorry, I still didn't hear
There's
you.
a folder with things.
I have them,
Oh,
I think,
okay,
yeah.
thank you. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, I did not see any transfers or budget nods. So, those are just for your edification. We have nothing from our deputy clerk treasurer cemetery sexton tonight, but if she's on the line, hi. And on to clerk Farah.
Abstract number 18, general fund, $25,749.05. Water fund, $2,375.53. Sewer fund, $12,105.13, and trust and agency, $82.64, for a total of $40,312.35.
Motion to pay all bills with 3 signatures.
Make a motion.
And a second,
Second.
and a
Yeah.
vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And trustee, thank you.
Okay, Joe Nicolosi water was shut off on 12/2, however, the line charges were not changed. So we owe him 2 months worth of consumption charges, so it would be an adjustment of, the minimum bill twice,
Okay,
just for the consumption charges.
okay, and that was an error on our end?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. You need a motion, right, so we can send it back, send money back.
Credit the account, on the account.
So moved.
Oh, you'll credit, you don't send them a check?
No,
We're not
just
gonna send a check, okay,
adjustment.
my mistake. Okay, so then credit, motion to credit that account then, please,
So moved.
and a second,
Second.
and a vote,
Yes.
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 And then Mike
and yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Winslow, had a leak, and he requested option 1 of the leak forgiveness, and that turns out to be a total credit of, I don't know, I wrote down what he should be paying, but I don't know the difference. He had 11,000 gallons leaked through, his water will be adjusted to 888, and his sewer will be adjusted to 1604 with the option
So
1.
he's probably around 200.
Probably, I think
Yeah.
he did too.
Okay, so trustee Walshipsky, could you hear that?
No,
All right, we have a request for forgiveness using option number 1. It's going to be about a $300 credit. It was a leak, you said? 11,000 gallon leak. 11,000 gallon won't be $200.
is that the first time that they've requested it?
Apparently, he's eligible for this one, yes.
Yes, normal consumption is 1,700.
100
This 11,000 gallons.
gallons.
Yeah. I think it was.
You make a swimming pool in the basement. I mean,
I have to imagine it was an outside hose,
Probably. So they split, maybe.
like a cellcock broke, maybe when it was cold. Pipe froze. It was leaking.
Yeah.
does he live there?
Yes.
He's entitled to the option. He doesn't have to prove it. He just has to ask for it. So do we have a motion to approve that forgiveness?
So moved.
And a second,
Second.
and a vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
And yes, thank you.
And then I reached out to Tracy at Gates Cole about the park events.
About what?
The park events,
Events, okay?
because I didn't know what I should, if anything, include on the applications. And other websites showed that they actually had riders to their insurance, they had riders to the application, all about COVID and this, that, and everything. Long story short, the bottom line is the village can be held liable in the event someone contracts COVID or they're not following protocols. There's really no verbiage I can put on that because no matter how much we say you gotta do it right, ultimately it can come back on the village. So I told Tracy I would bring that to the board and for the board to decide ultimately, because obviously now the chamber has called and they would like to do the summer concert series. Obviously, there's a lot of planning involved in the spring park craft fair as well as that. So they really kind of needed to answer, because her first advice was to say to have it wait till see how things go,
Right.
but they're gonna want to know now. So that being said, I want you to tell me what you want me to proceed or how to proceed with this.
what would a rider cost the village?
It's an added rider for the insurance and an additional rider to the like addendum to the contract. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Oh, our addendum.
Yeah, I thought that we would go that route, but ultimately, no matter what we do, we're not ironclad free from
Right.
anything should something happen.
So we are not obligated to give permission this far out in advance, if that's what we choose to do.
Hold permission until we
Yeah.
find out more. Well,
We
what,
could.
they just opened up theme parks now for April,
For how long?
right? Right.
That's the only thing.
So could we wait until May and see how the theme park opening goes and then go from there? Because if the theme park is allowed to be open, then I would assume you're allowed to have a gathering in the park.
Right, the thing is, these people are starting to do their planning now.
Right.
So and being that we're still doing Zoom, you know, it's kind of a,
It's conflicting.
yes.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I didn't know if maybe I could reach out to them and ask them what their deadline date is for knowing and we can reassess, but if they need to know right now, I wanted to know your stance.
Okay, so they don't need to know tonight. Can they wait until the first meeting in March?
Since it's been brought to your attention, I think that would be fair enough, and I can reach out to Judy, someone's gonna call again tomorrow, just to get the
Mhm.
recap of what happened tonight, and I'll reach out to Carla and let her know the situation, as well as the pavilion. So, then I'll leave that on for the next time.
Okay. Did you hear that, trustee Walshipski?
Yes,
Did you hear that?
yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I would ask them what their
Deadline dates,
deadline
you know,
would be, yeah. So
I'm sure that
we
someone will
got
do it
time.
now, but you never know.
Right.
And that's all I have.
Okay, well, that's the best we can do.
Yeah.
Without
Can't
seeing in the
say
future.
yay.
Yeah. All right. Did you, trustee Leonard, you brought something before this board tonight. Did you want to do it now, or do you want to wait until down below?
Oh, it doesn't matter. As long as we do it.
Because it's very quick. If you want to do it now,
We can do it.
you're welcome to do it now.
Yeah.
Would you present it, please?
Oh, no. You all have a copy of this, signing of the village vouchers. The only thing I didn't put in there,
We can.
no.
Oh.
No. Is your little Monday night retreat.
That's just for your convenience.
Right, because if there's another mayor down the road, that's, I
Correct.
didn't want it in there.
Correct.
Right.
Another mayor down the road could change this too.
Oh, yeah. true. I
Okay, just so you know
understand.
that.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
understand. It says here, the village clerk, I have all vouchers ready for signature by 12 noon on Monday, the day before the board meeting, or the day prior to the board meeting on Tuesday. And when they're done, the clerk will send an email to each department notifying vouchers are ready for signatures. Department head are required to sign the vouchers for their department at the end of the workday on Monday. Department heads are responsible for checking all vouchers for accuracy. Trustees will then sign vouchers anytime Tuesday prior to the end of the office workday, or Monday if you're
right.
down there.
Dale and I were talking about this, and I just want to throw up a few things that might change some of the words in this. One of them being the timeliness of the claims that come in. Sometimes we don't have all the claims in by Monday. The Monday night experiment, I'm considering maybe a failed experiment. It didn't work out like I'd hoped. I think we capture enough bills between the end of business or between the mail on Monday and the mail on Tuesday that might warrant having a Tuesday noontime deadline. Just for your consideration.
I
We
just
may or
use
may not,
Monday because once you
because we already
start,
had it.
yeah, once you
yeah.
start now, Monday, next Monday, it falls right into place, just like it'd be Tuesday.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if we consider Tuesday, that's,
Fine with me, Monday or Tuesday, don't matter.
I'm on the right track, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if they're all done by noon on Monday, or on Tuesday rather, trustees have from noon until meeting time to sign them. I'm here, as long as I'm there, I'll be here early enough to let people in and sign them. Dale's often here before me. So you have before the meetings to sign them, so from noon until the meetings.
Yeah, well, Tuesday's fine.
But so if we could maybe structure this so that it works out so that you people have enough time to sign them after the department heads have had them, after the clerk's office has had them, you know, and still capture as many of the outliers as we can. And there still may be one or two that fall, it shouldn't be though, right? Shouldn't be too many that come in after the mail comes in. I always see you down there.
I can have them done easily, but I can have them done by 10:30 after Harry gets back. from-
That's it, we get the mail in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
But the department heads, the whole idea is the trustees assign as the department heads, they come in anywhere from, well, like Tony never came in today, or excuse me, not Tony,
Anybody, whoever it was, yeah.
didn't make it in today. So I just don't want, what's gonna happen if someone has a day off or how can we can't hold the bills, right?
No, we can't, we get penalized for that
Exactly.
ordinarily.
If they can't make it because they're sick or on vacation, they can't make it, that's all.
So how does the claim get processed? It stops.
Whatever department head's there, okay, so they can't make it, we still gotta pay the bills. He's
Right,
the only one not gonna sign it.
right.
That's fine, I mean, you gotta
So you
have,
make an exemption.
yeah.
If they're not present that day at work,
Okay,
then
so you might need a list of qualifications for an exemption.
Right.
So
Like the
that,
vacation, water main break, and get in.
So this is gonna read more like the vouchers are ready for signing by 12 noon on Tuesday.
Right.
And then that's making department heads liable to be here by 12 noon on Tuesday to sign their vouchers. And then that leaves us as trustees from 12 noon until 7 o'clock at our meeting or whatever time. the meeting
and that
might
sounds
be.
like it gets everything.
They have from noon till the end of their workday.
Okay.
You know.
So then we'd have the ability to sign them from the end
So-
of their workday at 2:30 till 7, which,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay,
And then
Well, I was just thinking sometimes it depends on when you get out of work,
it's usually 5 minutes before our meeting.
right? You
But
know, and Barb's not always here,
I know
so I mean, we have to have 3 signatures.
it. Right,
I mean, me and Doc signing them and then,
right,
Barb will be back soon, I believe.
right.
well, and don't forget, that's this board.
But that also still leaves me time to sign them right prior to our meeting.
Okay.
Like I have been, or going over them, so,
And I also wouldn't mind taking out where I have to email everybody saying I'm done. If I have a deadline, they'll need to know that.
right, they have to be here by
Yeah,
that
I
time.
don't have to reach out and say, oh, I'm done at noon all the
yeah,
time.
one notice and that's all.
Yeah.
You're-
Oh, so they should know, in other words, they should know,
To be here by noon on, or by the end of the workday on Tuesday. To sign them,
that's fair, right? Because if that's a standard, then.
then they have to hold
it.
to it.
Now.
That's actually just a courtesy.
Right.
Are you able to make it here? There is one exception. I've been staying here till 5:30. We worked it out because that's the best he can do with his job.
Yeah, I don't turn in all that many vouchers anyways.
Right.
yeah.
I know the chiefs are allowed to do mileage vouchers, but I haven't done.
No, the vouchers that,
No, the signing for, debt
Oh,
or
okay.
claims against your budget.
This is new, so for you, so I was wondering if Captain Wellington is able or.
Yeah, or, actually, I'm glad you mentioned, so I was gonna bring that, could Chad sign as an assistant chief sign?
Is he the next in line for you?
He'd be the second in line
I would,
right now, and then after, I believe after elections, he might be moving up, because Doug's retiring as an assistant chief.
what you want to do is not designate a person, but a position.
Like the first or second.
Chad's the second assistant chief.
So you might, yeah, but you might want to say the first assistant chief can sign in your place. And then if there's a turnover in personnel, then the first assistant chief still signs in your place.
Could we allow both first and second assistant chief to sign in case one or the other can't do it?
That would be up to this board, but that's spreading authority out. I don't know if they want to do that. It's up to them. If that's,
I can tell you that Chad makes most of the purchases over Doug.
Mhm.
For example.
yeah,
With him working for the village, he does do a lot as far as purchases and whatnot for me.
right. But there again, I'm not looking to appoint Chad as the person, but the
Yeah, yeah.
position.
So
We
what
want-
if we labeled second assistant chief and as the the only sole person who could sign in place of,
Well, he's asking first
Chief.
and
I was gonna say, I
second.
would put first and second assistant.
right, but in lieu of making two people, if Chad is the second assistant chief right now, then if Chad gets promoted to first assistant chief, then we only have to change the wording from second assistant chief to first assistant chief.
But there again, you're following the person. You should
Right.
make the responsibility for the position,
Yeah, I think a first assistant and chief.
and whoever that
He gets
is.
moved up to it, he's off of that. Doesn't get moved up, somebody else does, and then they're.
What's the,
I'm just thinking, is Doug gonna be able
I
to
know
make it here
that.
to sign the vouchers?
that's the responsibility of the department though.
Right,
Yeah, that's why, again, it's up to you guys, I would rather see both, allow both the first and second assistant chief to sign. This way, if I can't do it, then, let's say, right now Doug's first assistant, if he can't come in, then Jen would be able to come in. So instead of just leaving me and first assistant, make all three chiefs able to sign the vouchers.
So then all we need, I would say, is something in writing from the fire department. And I think it would be from the, not from you though, from your fire council.
The board of commissioners?
Yes, your fire council. Board of directors.
Well, yeah, the
Board of directors, you're right. So I would say get something from them authorizing the following people to sign claims on behalf of the fire department.
Okay,
Okay, and make sure that they know that those people that sign are then responsible on your behalf for the budget,
mhm,
for spending money against the budget,
okay,
okay?
Yeah.
That's really all we're trying to do is keep accountability,
yeah,
so that we can find it when we need it,
okay,
all right? It's not trying to, give anybody any special privileges. It's
Yeah,
to
yeah.
keep the accountability,
okay.
all right? If you need help with that, just give a call. We'll
Okay.
help you get it worded. All right?
Now, do you want this in the employee's handbook or just on the procurement?
This will go in the procurement policy. There's a little section, you're actually replacing a section.
Okay, yeah,
Right?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't really have much of it in there, just that, we have to sign the, packing slip or whatever.
Yeah, well, this procedure part, it's gonna take up a little bit.
so the only other thing left to do is designate exemptions or exceptions.
Okay.
As if, like we said, if someone's not here that day to sign the vouchers, do we still pay the bills?
That's
Which
the
we do.
question. Okay,
So then we have to say
as long
if,
as there's backup that proves that it was.
right, as
authorized.
in, for
Exactly.
example, a packing slip is signed or so on and so forth. If nothing is signed with no signature, then nothing gets
I don't think
signed
that
by
goes
us.
I
past the
don't even
desk.
put it.
Right, so that, I mean, so it could be something as simple as
Great.
in lieu of absence of who,
In the event it's
department
not-
head, then if there is a signature on the packing slip, the board may authorize the purchase. If,
Supporting signed documentation.
right, okay, very good, so. But it would have to read something like that. not
I didn't
word
get
for
all of
word,
that. In the event of the absence
Of a department
of
head
department head
on the day,
On the voucher.
on the voucher,
on the day of,
on the day, on the voucher, on the day of the
okay,
requirement, I guess, or, I don't know.
What has been done? I mean, they must have been not able to sign.
Well, that was why we
I don't
changed it initially, because if they didn't sign it, then we didn't pay it, and then we were incurring late fees. So this is the exemption, this is the best of both worlds. If you say, then the voucher didn't get signed, then we still have course to pay the bills and not incur a late
So
fee
long
on the
as-
bill. That was the only reason why we changed this in the first place, was because of either absences or someone not showing up to sign the voucher itself. That was why we created it to be, packing slip signature counted as a signature for the voucher. So as long as we incorporate the fact that the board is still allowed to sign the voucher, whether or not, for whatever reason, the department head didn't make it here to sign their voucher. And if it's a regular basis thing, then obviously there's something wrong with it.
well, then that's a different issue.
Right,
Yeah, I mean,
so,
they'd have to be absent from work.
right,
Right,
That's
Right.
the only way you cannot sign it.
no,
It'd be a-
in the event that a department head can't make it to sign the voucher, the claims, they could be at an emergency,
right.
they could be absent, emergency.
So rather than
Absence.
listing do we want to list all the instances where it's okay? Or do we want to say just in the absence of a department head signature, the board has the authority to proceed as long as there's a packing slip or supporting signed documentation,
That's a good,
right?
that's a good way around it.
And then that way we have the authority to sign it. And then if it happens consistently, then it's another matter to address.
So then you're back to where we were, pretty much.
Essentially, but it still requires the department head to come sign it. And then if it goes on for 3 weeks in a row that they don't show up to sign their voucher, then we have a
Are
problem.
we gonna require that they come in after the fact and sign it though?
Yes.
Okay.
The other wording I would like to see, like, it says trustees will sign vouchers anytime on Tuesday prior to the end of the village office workday.
Prior to
Could
the,
that say prior to board meeting?
try that again. Department heads were required to sign all vouchers for the department by the end of their
Yes.
workday.
The last sentence, trustees.
Department heads or trustees will sign vouchers anytime prior to the, how about prior to the meeting?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Prior to the board meeting.
Okay. This is sign vouchers
Well,
anytime.
no, because that makes it sound like I'm gonna be here to the board meeting. I won't do that unless it's requested individually for whatever reason.
Well, usually what time you get here anyway?
Well,
I'm here by 6.
Right, so.
Yeah, but the way you were wording it made it sound like I have to.
She'd be here continuously
Yeah.
from the beginning of her day
And
till
that's
the.
super long.
Oh, all right. Oh,
So
all
if
right.
you leave it just as the end of the workday, and then if there is an exception, Dale can grant that exception on the instance of that exception. And every other time you have to be here to sign your voucher before the end of your workday, period.
I think what we want to try and get away from is having signing going on while we're trying to conduct business.
Right.
Also,
Right. So if we make it the end of the workday, that gives everybody ample time to get here
like
early.
it is, you
And
know,
if there's
Ourselves
any
included.
reason you can't for that particular meeting and you want to say, hey, Deb, can you stay open till 4:30 today? Something like that, I'm flexible. And I am here by 5:30, 6 o'clock. So, you know, I'm half before the board meeting.
okay, so then that has to get reworded and I lost all the words.
I got it.
You got it? Would you draft it and then, we'll look at it and we'll approve the amended procurement policy next week,
Okay.
or next month, rather. Trustee Walsh-Chipsky, you want to weigh in on that at all? Did you get a copy?
No, that's fine.
We'll get you a look at it before next meeting.
Okay,
You won't be here, you won't be present for the next meeting. You'll be still Skyping in,
right, that's Tuesday, the 2nd, right?
second or
No.
third, something like that,
Wait,
Monday,
Next meeting.
14th.
it's the 9th.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because, yeah, the 9th of March.
The 9th is the next meeting. I will be there then.
All right, well, we'll still make sure that you get a chance to look at it.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
All right, good. Thank you for doing that. I'm gonna leave this next up to the trustees. Do you want to go on to your trustee contributions before we work on the zoning, or do you want to go through the zoning real quickly? I don't know what we have to do on zoning, but I'd like to get it out of our hands and into our attorneys. And so it'll be a little bit of looking at the zoning redraft. That's the only other thing I had. So if you want to go on to your comments first and then do the zoning redraft, or do the zoning redraft first, it's up to you.
We already looked at the zoning redraft, correct?
Yes, so it's been distributed.
Right.
I don't know that we've done an awful lot with it.
Right.
Except the maps, that's all.
Have you seen the maps? Has everybody seen the maps?
I'm pretty
They're
sure.
down in the village office. Were they the large ones?
Didn't we get,
Color?
yeah.
No, you remember you had the name out flat, they're still down.
Yeah, I
You
don't
want me to get into them?
No, we'll pick them up later.
Okay.
No, we won't. I won't go down there.
I can bring them up.
Before you leave?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So, we'll put that off one more meeting. Did anybody have any, I guess we decided what we're doing, huh? Does anybody want any comments on the, written material? Not tonight?
No.
Okay, so we'll put that off one more meeting, hopefully the beginning of March, and hopefully we won't have an awful lot to do with the, CDBG or the GIGP.
What would the comments be on? That's been on the table for a long time, right? The zoning draft revision as far as word.
Yes, we
word-wise?
handed it out a while
Right,
ago.
because I believe I've read through all of it, and I don't think I have
And the-
anything to
okay.
revise, so.
Okay, so we'll give you a look at the maps, and then we'll have a full board here when we,
Yeah.
send it on.
Okay.
Great, okay. And just a reminder that the, part one FEAF was complete. I think we're all ready with the environmental impact study for the, or form rather, for the first part of the code revision. So I kind of would like us to think about having a public hearing and for both parts if we could. If we're lucky enough to be able to have a public hearing outside, we will, but for foreseeable future, we'll be doing it like this, and they're a little more difficult to conduct with the Zoom. So we'll talk about that when time comes. So on to trustee comments. Trustee Van Riper.
I have nothing.
All right. Trustee Putnam.
Oh, nothing at the moment.
Now you're running out of moments. Trustee Leonard.
You got enough time?
Yeah, you have all the time you
Did you
want.
shed yet?
What's that?
Shed?
Yes, we did.
Okay. What I'd like to know is if we could, the bridge on Main Street over here, goes down towards the dump, and then one of the bridges over off in Church Street, put a dry hydrant in each one of them. If we ever have a major fire, we'll run out of water.
Yeah, it's possible. I know right now, we've done some, I won't say testing, but some back checking. With the amount of 5-inch we have on our tanker right now, we can go from the bridge on Elm Street Extension down Elm Street to Main Street and down Main Street as far as roughly the Tally Ho. So we do have options for water, but dry hydrants are always a great option and a backup. Just the only issue, winter time, we gotta keep them cleared out. And then,
What's the cost to construct?
all you gotta do is find somebody who's got an excavator and willing to dig, and then just the 6-inch PVC piping. And I know from what previous chief has told me, that you guys have got an account with somebody out towards Utica for the PVC piping.
Oh,
Chris Butler's got an account somewhere out that way on 5 and Skyler.
Right.
I'm not sure of the company, but that's where the previous chief has gone to get the piping for the dry hydrants that we've already put in.
So suction comes from the truck itself.
Yep.
what about environmental costs? You have to, how do you clear that with the DEC?
Don't have to.
You do not?
No.
Okay,
Need it, fire department hydrant,
okay.
so,
So do we have to go through any other motions to get that? I mean, do you have to have
no,
any other privilege?
no, usually what we do, obviously, a lot of times we're going on landowners' property, so we just get permission from them.
Mhm.
But other than that, there's nothing else we really do.
And that's something DPW can do.
All right? All right, can you put together a plan?
Well, where would you like them again?
Well, the bridge right over here, on Main Street in, what is it?
It's on River Street.
Corner river.
Right.
River.
And then one of the other bridges on off of,
Walnut Street, or,
yeah, one of them.
yeah, okay. There's a Walnut and then Hyder Street, is that, I know we've done drills over on Hyder Street before, so. And I can always check with Kevin, I know he's allowed us to put a dry hydrant up on his pond, up on his residence out in the town, so. I don't think he would have an issue if we were to ask to put a dry hydrant down behind the barn, he just purchased a Hyder Street, so.
Right. That's all we got.
All right, thank you. Trustee Walshewski.
Just a quick question. Do we know where the town stands with water districts yet?
They're working on it. Did you get something from me last night or this morning?
I don't know.
There's
I
a,
did. I'll have to check.
Yeah, I sent along to you the draft engineering plan for the water and a draft engineering plan for the sewer. They're complete this time. They have numbers filled in.
Okay,
So
I
they're,
don't think I saw that, but I'll look again.
okay, if you didn't, give me a shout. I'll make sure you get it.
Okay,
I'm trying
and
to,
what was Leonard talking about? Pumping water from the creeks?
dry hydrants from the creeks.
Setting up dry hydrants.
Dry hydrants for the fire department.
And what does that do?
It's another option for water.
Oh, okay. I couldn't quite hear what he was saying.
Oh, sorry, it would provide water that's not from our plant,
Oh, okay.
from a natural source.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else from anybody in this room? We're all good. If there's no further discussion, I would like a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Article 7, Section 105 of Public Officers Law to discuss the promotion, discipline, demotion, suspension, dismissal, removal, or any other thing regarding particular people in our company. Motion to go into executive session. And a second.
You made it first.
I did?
And then-
I requested. All right, I'll make it.
Right, second.
And a vote.
Yes.
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 And sorry, we'll have to exclude you from that one though, trustee Walshipski.
Okay,
You get a jump on the sunshine though.
okay.
Have a
Bring it.
safe trip back.
Bring a jar home.
I'm gonna absorb all of it.
Okay. Have a safe trip.